All right. Yep. We're good. My name's Christopher Franz. I'm the founder of Country Community Honor. I am here with Jonathan, I believe it's Wagoner.
It is Wagoner. Good to meet you, Christopher. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to get this interview going.
Well, thank you so much for have this conversation or be willing to have this conversation. But you
Yeah,
are running for what? Congress, California's 26th congressional district.
that's right here in beautiful Ventura County. Yeah, but that's right, Congressional District 26.
And why do you specifically want to run? What made you feel like you had to run right now?
I think over the years, just watching these career politicians kind of sit in their seat for years after years, they like to blame the other side, and I mean, we kind of come up with a gridlock of getting stuff done, and yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated with the division this is causing. I mean, used to be able to have a conversation with friends without getting into politics too deep or anybody getting upset, and yeah, so I mean, I think that these career politicians are creating this division, right? I mean, it drives the voting or the fundraising for sure. The less divided people are. So decided to throw my name in the hat. Tired of it.
And then you decided to run as a Republican. Any specific reason why?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up a Republican. I mean, was first registered as a Republican. I think a Republican more fits what I believe, or some of the party, what the party message is. But yeah, I mean, I think strategically too on specifically the House of Representatives, and I'm glad you brought that up and to jump into that. You are representing your community, you're representing your district, and I think with a lot of these members in Congress, they really side up with the party affiliation. Now, I think it's important to go to your community and make sure that everybody has a voice. And for the last 12 plus years, we've had one particular person there, siding with party the whole time, and there's a lot of people in the community that feel different. So, yeah, while I may be a Republican running as a Republican, I definitely want to bring a unified voice to Congress and really do what's best for my community, not necessarily myself.
So does that mean let's say you do get elected to Congress, you are a Republican, are you willing to push back against the Republican Party then? Are you willing to go against them, vote against them if you feel that it's not right?
Yeah, I feel that I need to really consult with my community. Something that's been frustrating is the lack of community involvement that we currently have. So one thing I'm pushing for, we'll see how practical this gets, obviously, once things are in full swing, but I would like to push for a quarterly town hall where all members of the community can come. Unfortunately, we see phone town halls right now. We see town halls that are by invite only, and so I want to make sure that I represent the whole community. But yeah, I think that there's issues that are brought up, and my community is completely against it. Then I'm voting for what my community wants, not necessarily what Jonathan Wagoner wants. And I think that is the definition of House of Representatives. We kind of get it mixed up with the party preference.
That is very true. Party politics is what has caused us so many problems in our country today. And it's just become left and right. Republicans want to try to pass this bill. Only Republicans vote for it. Democrats won't. And then vice versa. And it's just caused so many problems. So we need more independent thinkers in office who are willing to say, screw both sides. I'm here to represent my community. Whatever they want is how I'm going to be voting. I don't care how the party wants me to vote. I don't care how I want to vote. I'm voting for my community.
Yeah, I'm going to be making throughout this campaign and this campaign trail, this is going to be a huge kind of commitment or promises that I'm making as to represent the community. I'm a man of my word, so I want to make sure I stay true to that. But yeah, I do think it's it is the definition of the House of Representatives. We need to represent the people and not necessarily my interest. And I mean, I will say, if I'm feeling a certain way on an issue, hey, this is how I feel on this issue. How do you feel on this issue? And what does my community want? And I don't know, as far as the Republican Party here in Ventura County, I would say we haven't had much of a voice here in Congress for the last 12 plus years. And I don't want either side to feel that. And I think it's interesting that you brought up that people get gridlocked in party. I can tell you that issues that are brought forward by the Democrats, are shot down by Republicans and vice versa. But of course, it's the person bringing it forward, right? I think that you just switch the name. Watch how quickly people fall in line there. So I want to be very clear. I will work both sides to make sure stuff gets done. And there is a reasonable voice in Congress that, sides with the community and specifically what I want. Go to my community, talk to them. That's what I'm doing.
So on your website, one of your issues tabs, you say you want to stand up for seniors because apparently you have a lot of seniors in Ventura County.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I have issues that really, stand out to me. So as I've started this campaign, I've started the groundwork. I am working on getting involved with community meetings as far as what my community wants me to stand for. But I definitely wanted some issues out there that, really speak to me. I think that, I was raised by a single mom. I was raised by a single mom that survived cancer. And that single mom is trusting in the system right now, and now she's a senior, and this really exposes me to something that I haven't necessarily paid attention to, and that is lack of affordability. I mean, I'm in California; it's not cheap to live here, and every dollar matters. And I think that certain issues that stand out to me, but standing up for our seniors. I mean, they have literally built the communities that we live in now, and making sure that they're able to have a roof over their head, they can afford certain things. I want to make sure that we're there for them. On top of, I mean, scams, right? I would say the younger generation, we can kind of spot some stuff coming in. You get a funny message, hey, looking for a job or looking for a little extra money. You can say, that's a scam. Seniors, unfortunately, fall victim to this every single day. And shortly after creating this issue and speaking to some seniors and some struggles that they've gone through, our local district attorney posted something about a senior that was taken advantage of, and unfortunately it happens. I want to make sure we have more protection there for seniors.
So you want more protection. You say on your website that you want to, what was it? You want to back federal programs that help seniors stay in their homes longer through home modification grants. You want caregiver support and expand access to home-based services. Along with, you want to secure funding for senior centers, nutrition programs, transportation services, and health outreach. How much money are we talking here? Because right now, like, a lot of the conservative Republican base is more about cutting spending, cutting back. So how much federal funding would you say you would need for this? And would you be looking to cut fundings from other parts of the federal government in order to fund these extra programs?
I think that's a great question. And do I have the number of what we need? No. Does this help our community as far as me going after certain grants for seniors and making sure I stand out and speak up to everything that's available? As far as going and cutting other programs, I mean, obviously the Republican Party right now is pro-cutting. We're dodging the federal government, and I mean, I think that there's something to be said about our government spending frivolous amounts of money, sending it to other countries, worrying about other countries. We need to bring that back here, and we need to spend that here. So, do I think that other federal funds need to be cut? No, I think we can figure out where we can work some of this in for American citizens, taxpayers, and specifically in our country. I mean, this is our country. We've worked hard. These seniors have worked hard. But yeah, and then I think as far as, I heard a story to somebody when I was kind of creating this agenda as far as standing up for seniors. This particular person, has, how do I say this? They have the ability to pay for certain things. So the mother had a decent savings. They had a rental property, and the mother came in and lived with them, and they had not quite hit the threshold of being able to get any assistance for her help, and it was around the clock help. So there was some stuff that they had gone through there, and they expressed it would have been nice to at least receive some sort of tax cut or something there to help with what we were putting out, because we were putting out a lot of money, but unfortunately we were not qualified to go after any programs. And I think that we need to be fair across the board. I think that's important, right? I mean,
So one of the things I guess a lot of the conservative base argues is we should cut a lot of these welfare benefits to illegal immigrants in order to give them that money back to the American people. Is that something you would be more willing to do? Try to make sure illegal immigrants aren't able to get welfare benefits, or even some more on the far right have advocated, sorry,
Okay.
for no even legal immigrants not being able to qualify for welfare for the first few years they're here. Are these types of programs you would be willing to support?
Yeah, I mean, I think, where my community, and specifically, I think this is where I start to, I don't want to say it's not necessarily with the Republican Party, because I speak with Republicans and they're kind of on the same page. We have a broken immigration system. That is something that we all can admit, both sides. Whoever's in control, again, we have that political divide that starts kicking in of, what's happening, and the anger that you're seeing when people are mad about certain things. But we have a broken immigration policy. Specifically in my community, we thrive with, whatever you want. I mean, I don't necessarily know. I mean, politically correct term right now, is it undocumented, illegal aliens? I mean, I'm not, I'm also not a politician, so I'm not going to get it right every single time. That's anybody that's watching this, that's clear. I'm a regular person that thinks he can do better for our community and use my experience as a business owner to do something about it. So, but my community thrives. I mean, I grew up with friends that unfortunately had some issues with their immigration status, were unfortunately deported under the Obama administration. I mean, I have real experience with that. As far as these programs, is it fair that California comes in and pays for programs for undocumented immigrants to come in and live? I don't think so. I think that needs to be studied. It needs to be looked at. Now, that's definitely more of a California thing, where the federal funds starting to mix in. But then again, when you use the example of, you have people that have been here, that have been born here, they've worked their entire life here, they've lived here, and now, and my mom watches this video later, I'll expose this a little bit, but there was a dental program that she did not qualify for because she made $18 a month more for that program. So it took her a year to get proper approval to get some coverage to help her out with that. That's what real seniors and real people here are dealing with. Now, somebody comes across the border, whatever the situation is, and I mean, I've heard things of California is giving down payments for people. There's so many different things that this healthcare, I mean, I can tell you, my healthcare is extremely expensive. I work hard to pay for that. And we need to come up with, maybe if it's just not a golden ticket, but if somebody's coming here, they're seeking asylum, whatever it may be, maybe we help them out. But hey, there's an expiration on this, and you need to get a job. You need to contribute to the economy. Unfortunately, in our community, and as you start to speak to people, we know of people that are on welfare. We know of people that are taking advantage of the system. They're just clearly taking advantage of the system. We need to clean that up. We need to clean the process up. I think there's enough money to go around, especially out of these billions and billions of dollars that have been contributed. We need to be smart. We need to use common sense.
So
when you get laid off from a job, right? You have unemployment. That employment is not there for you to sit on the couch every single day and watch TV and eat whatever you want. It's for you to be able to provide for your bills, so you don't have to worry about the roof over your head for your family while you look for a job, get a job, and go to work.
When you were speaking of immigration, it sounds like you said you want to modernize legal pathways for a lot of these people who have come into this country illegally, it sounds like. Are you for mass amnesty, or are you more for mass deportation? Because right now, a lot of the more conservative people are on the mass deportation side, whereas a lot of the more people on the left are on the mass amnesty side. So when it comes to an election, if you're on the amnesty side, you may gain the liberals, but you may lose the conservative base, and then vice versa. So where do you stand in amnesty, deportation on this actual issue? Do you have an actual stance yourself?
Yeah, so I think we have, this is kind of a, it's a double-edged sword, because you say something right and you're right. You say something right, it's going to make somebody mad. Right now, right, I'm a regular person living in my community, and I can see the struggles. So the struggles that I know of, we have undocumented immigrants here right now. They have come over, they work very hard, and right now they're scared. They're scared that, somebody's going to come in and deport them. I think as far as deportation, we don't want the criminals here. We don't want people that are causing issues to our country, that have got here, that are, essentially, wreaking havoc. Let's get them out of our country. And I think that that's a double-edged sword with, like, particularly the Trump administration right now. You put out, hey, I want to deport certain individuals. Now you're going to have the story of, well, we went to go deport this particular individual. We ran into his mom. His mom has been here. She hasn't caused any problems, but you have the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, and law enforcement right now is following letter of the law. Well, I am told if you're undocumented, you need to leave. We need to deport you. So I think that that is kind of a double-edged sword. How do we get the criminals out? How are we saying, hey, we don't want you here anymore? But I'm tired. I think, my community, huge farmland, lots of construction, lots of hard-working people that have come across that are looking for a better life. Personally, I've interacted with them. I know these people. These are great people, hard workers, and providing for their family. Imagine leaving your family today and going to a different state and saying, there's a better opportunity for me in this state, and I've got to go there. But you can't come across the state lines when it's your mom's birthday, it's your wife's birthday, it's your son's birthday. And that is unfortunately what they're dealing with. They have left their country to come over here and provide for some better life, but they leave their families behind. And I think that when you start speaking to some of these individuals of, okay, I get they came across illegally. I get that they broke the law. I understand that. But you start peeling back, well, the process was extremely difficult, or now I've gotten here and attorneys want to charge me thousands and thousands of dollars and the system's broken. I know somebody very close that has raised an entire family here. Great guy. And the attorney is the one. He goes to an attorney. I'm not an attorney. If I have a legal question, I go to an attorney, ask a question. Here, this is the question I have. What can we do? Unfortunately, that costs money. And this particular gentleman has been dragged for years into the mud, into spending money that he doesn't have, right? And he's got a beautiful family. The family is, I can tell you, one of his children is going to a very prestigious law school, which is amazing. But this is the contribution people are contributing to our economy, right? So and our country, we want this here. And so yeah, I think it's a broken system. I think it's a double-edged sword on both sides. What do I want? I want to just blanketly say, hey, everybody's fine here? No, because we have people that don't belong here. And then vice versa, I don't feel that we should just be blanketly saying, all right, everybody has to go and come back in. I know that would hurt the people in my community. And remember, I'm a representative, or I'm running to be a representative for my community, not my party. And my party is my affiliation, but I have to represent the community that I live in.
A lot of people on the more conservative side would argue that if they're illegal immigrants and they can't vote for you, they're not really necessarily even part of your community, so they shouldn't come first. The citizens should come first.
Yeah, citizens come first, but a lot of these people that I'm speaking of, they have raised a family here. Those that the family is citizens, their friends are citizens. I can tell you, I was speaking to somebody the other day that was very passionate. She's an American-born American citizen, and was very passionate about the immigrants here. So doing the right thing for me has nothing to do if I'm going to get the vote or not. But we need to bring common sense into the equation of, we have a broken system. And when you're looking at investing in our economy, and I use that particular gentleman as a example with his child. I'm trying not to give too much away, but his child contributing now is going to school, wanting to be a lawyer, wanting to give back to the community there. This is ultimately growing us as a nation, us as a community, us understanding different things and different situations. So, it's an investment into our country for sure.
So when I was going over your website and as I've been talking to you, in today's political spectrum, I don't know if you would really fit on the conservative right, especially with MAGA, mass deportations, no amnesty, things like that. So have you ever thought of potentially maybe running as a Democrat, and maybe would that give you a better advantage to unseating what is it, Julia? Because you do live more in a Democrat area. So do you think running as a Democrat, having more of a classic liberal political beliefs, would give you more of an advantage?
That's a great question, and something that I'm probably going to talk about and give examples throughout throughout this campaign. So, I sat down with and I'd like to mention I know some friends that are hard left. I know some friends that are left. I know friends that are independent. We've got moderate Democrats and we've got far right. I have a great friend group, right? Specifically went to give this example as far as, hey, just heads up before I file anything, I'm going to let you guys know that I'm going to run for Congress. And he says, well, you're not going to win as a Republican, not in Ventura County. You should just switch your voter registration to Democrat. There's the problem in our current environment, I believe here. And that's how I feel, that for me to play politics and say, I'm going to just swap my voter registration so I can pick up some votes would be the typical politician move. If you were really looking to win, now I would like to win, and I'm going to put a lot of effort into winning. But I think at the core of my campaign is the unity. Now, you've said you've reviewed my website, you've looked at it. I've had a lot of people come back on my website and say, now you happen to have looked up, who was running against Brownlee. This is how we connected, and you know that I'm a Republican. Most people looking at my website can't tell if I'm a Republican, independent, or Democrat. And I've actually had some people say, hey, I like that. I've had some people not like that too. So every side doesn't like it, right? But I think what I'm trying to create, especially on my website, is we're a lot closer on these issues than you think when you remove the party affiliation. Now, again, I'm a Republican because of some of the Republican things that they're doing. Definitely side with me, my voter registration, how I feel when I vote. But again, if I'm running as a community, somebody that is going to represent my community, this is important that I address all issues fairly. And, am I going to probably lose some Republicans along the way? Sure. Am I going to pick up some Democrats along the way? Sure.
So in 2024, in the what just happened? Okay, never mind. It was just it froze for a second. But in 2024, it was what Michael Kozlow was running against Julia Brownlee, and he is again filed to try and run again. So what do you think your chances are of gaining more Republican voters than Michael, since he's already run before, he's kind of already established, people know him in the community?
Yeah, all I can say is we'll see. This is a frustrated guy right here. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated in the system. I'm frustrated the way we talk in our community. One thing that I am making very clear to anyone is being able to have a transparent line of communication to me and being able to reach out. You reached out and we're now on this call. This is how important communication is. I can tell you that the candidates that have run to file that I will be running against have not reached out to my messages to them. I've also reached out. I'm a businessman. I can tell you that some great money that I've made is because my competition. I've befriended my competition. They see me as an ally, and we can work together. And I've made money off of that, and vice versa. They've made plenty of money off of me because we're friends and we have that open communication. And I think with the current people running, I can't say too much about Sam Gallucci because I don't know him too much. I can just, again, talk about the lack of communication. I've reached out to both of the forums there. It's unfortunate that we have not spoke yet. And I think with Michael Kozlow, I think the voters spoke. I voted for him last election because he was the candidate on file. I do not believe in Brownlee's message, and his message was in line with closer to my message. So he got my vote last time. Do I think that the Ventura County voters rejected him? Absolutely. Now, I mean, you can be persistent. There's plenty of politicians that have been persistent, have thrown their names in the hat. Um, but no, I think that, I mean, I'm confident we'll resolve this at the ballot, and I will move forward as the primary candidate. I think I have the message that that will come across as a very uniting message for sure. So, but if they end up finding this video and watching it, I would still like to speak to you guys because it's nice. It's nice to talk to each other.
So you said they didn't respond to your messages, and politics seems to be a dirty game. It doesn't seem to
Yeah.
be about transparency. It doesn't seem to be about honesty. It doesn't seem to be about running on what you're trying to do. It seems to just be about slandering and smearing the opponent. And so, how are you going to compete against not just Julia Brownlee, but let's say the Republican Party starts backing Michael Kozlow, and both of them start running million plus dollars worth of campaign ads against you? How are you going to be able to compete against this?
Yeah, definitely a loaded question there.
Well, I mean, that's the biggest
We
complaint
get
I
into
hear.
we get into the money for sure. I mean, I think that, number one, I think running as a Republican candidate, I need the support of the Republican Party here locally. Now, I can tell you that our Republican Party, I've spoken to, I've been to an event, we have a communication line going right now. They are about unifying the vote as well. So I think that as far as the party goes, I mean, yeah, that is definitely challenge one, right? Who's moving forward? I mean, nail on the head too. It's the top two candidates that move forward. So having candidates that are also maybe not serious in the race could also mess the race up, right? I think that if we get another maybe prominent Democrat, it could be two Democrats moving forward. So I think we do need to work together and come together. Politics is nasty. It's a negative game. I think that it's just not the way we need to talk to people, right? I mean, these commercials that you see when it's full-blown election season and the negative things. So as far as me, I will take the high road. And again, anybody watching this video, if it's the competition, I encourage you to take the high road. But I will be taking the high road, and it's gotten me pretty far so far. So yeah. And as far as competing with the money, I mean, that is no joke. I mean, I do have a plan to kind of compete with this, but it is no small task. I mean, it's definitely something that we are addressing, and I look to my community as I build this unified campaign. I will look for my community to really boost me up and get the message out. Really looking at past elections, past messages that have been given, I think, especially by these Republican candidates that have failed. It's not a message that Ventura County wants. Remember, you've got the person, but then you've got the community that you're running for. And yeah, so I think just bringing the message overall together and working with people, I think we'll be able to create some sort of grassroots movement here in Ventura County. And I think that is going to, you can spend millions of dollars. I get it. And a lot of negative money or a lot of negative ads come out as a result of that money. But I think connecting with as many people and sharing the true message of why I'm running and removing the nasty politics out of it, I think will make a difference.
That covers the basic questions I just wanted to ask you right now. Is there anything specific you would like to tell any of the listeners?
No, I just want to thank everyone for watching. This is exciting. It's exciting times. Exciting to start bringing people together. I think that when you talk to friends, you talk to family members, we've lived in this time long enough and the division needs to end. And I would like to use Ventura County as an example that we can come together, we can get stuff done. And let's set an example for the nation to follow. So that's really my message, come together. Now, I have a couple questions for you.
That's fine. Go shoot away.
let's spin it around because there was a couple things that, I mean, your organization. So tell me about what you do. I mean, there's a couple things on your website that stood out to me, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you about it.
Well, I was just sick and tired of basically both parties never doing anything. We just keep reelecting the same people over and over again. And just every day talking to people, just the average person. You bring up politics, they check out, they don't care. And then when you ask, okay, well, what if you would be interested in running? Or what if there was a different candidate that could run that you would be interested in voting for? The biggest complaint they have is, well, like, the parties have all the money. And everyone is just so disillusioned. They don't care. Again, they're just checked out. They don't want to pay attention because they feel we don't have a chance. And so, basic math, I was just like, 10% of the people who voted in 2020 or 2024 is about 15 million people. 15 million people donating $25 a month is $4.5 billion a year. Okay, that's $9 billion for every 2 election cycles. Okay, if 10%, so 15 million people actually cared enough to donate, we could make a difference, but it just seems, I hear people complain, we want to make a difference, but no one ever does. So, I had no idea what I was doing. I basically started Googling how to create this organization and then decided, okay, no one's doing it. I'm just an average nobody, but I guess I'm going to do it since no one else will. And I'm tired of the games. I'm tired of the fights. Compromise. People don't compromise anymore. I don't care if you are on the right or on the left. We used to be able to come together and talk about things, and now we can't.
I mean, your message is strong. Your message resonates with me. This is like, I am an average guy, right? We're average people here. We're not born politicians. And we're tired of, at least this is how I feel, I'm just tired of the division. I'm tired that, people have to ask, what's your voter registration, right? I mean, I've already had to say, look, I'm a Republican, but careful. Hear my message first. So I think that, on your website, you had this thing and it says, it's time we look past the letters on, on a candidate's name. And that's true, that the letters on my name, yes, again, I'm registered as a Republican. This is how I feel. But when I'm coming out to the community, I'm saying, I want to represent you. I'm going to have the whole alphabet there. What do we need to get the job done in Congress? And I mean, I don't know. And then I think that, it's interesting here. And, you start looking at how many people are, we're at retirement age, but it's like we go to retire at the House of Representatives. I mean, we have something like, 70 or 80 members that are, essentially should be retired, right?
Exactly.
And I think that is a bigger, that's a bigger issue. I understand it. I mean, we have presidents that are now older and people are older. I get that. You can still get the job done. But does that person represent me?
Well,
our demographic has changed, and I think we need that fresh blood, that fresh message, out there. And I think, yeah.
Well, when the average age of the United States is 38, but the average age of the House is like 55, and then the Senate is 64, I think they might be a bit out of touch, and I don't know if we should really have any silent generation people in office. I think we have one or two still, and it's just, what are you doing here? Why are you still in office? How do you keep getting elected? And then they keep getting elected because a lot of people don't run in the primaries, and the people who do run in the primaries, they don't have the support because, like I mentioned before, the party system just dumps the money behind the candidates they want, and then the average American who wants to make a difference has no money, has no funds, has no resources. But that's why I created Country Community Honor, because as a country, as a community, the average American can come together and have more money, more power, more reach, and more influence than this multi-billion-dollar propaganda machine combined. So we just have to care enough to try.
Agreed. And I think that, in our area, unfortunately, we're seeing lots of protests right now. We've got the hands-off protests. We've got, lots of signs that are standing out to me that we have, essentially people are so mad that, billionaires can buy the election. I think when, you talk about these super PACs and dumping, millions and millions of dollars on or in these elections, obviously people are upset with Elon Musk. But I think with, and I don't know the exact number, but it was something like Donald Trump had like 50 billionaires donate to him, if it was through super PACs or PACs or whatever it may be. And so that's where, you hear the talking points of the left right now. Well, he's helping out his billionaire cronies. And you go over to the Harris campaign and you realize Harris had 83 billionaires or 80 some billionaires. So I think that, again, it's the talking point of the party, what fuels people up. These people are upset. I mean, I think that with social media, right, algorithms, I'm going to talk about a tennis ball right now, and watch, a tennis ball is going to show up on my Instagram later. But these algorithms know what you want. And when you interact with certain content, it feeds you more of that. And I think that is creating this divide. And these political parties are unfortunately using this divide to really just rip us apart. And this is where we need to come together. And, you mentioned, and I want to go back real quick to the Republican thing of would you consider switching to a Democrat? Now, no, I would not. But I would almost say that most Republicans, at least in our area, are moderate Democrats in the 90s. That's where the parties have gone.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that, when you come together and you just use common sense, take the party affiliation out of the equation for a minute and just use common sense about these issues, we're going to get some stuff done. And, I have to say on your mission as well, seeing that, I think you had mentioned something you want to see more of, tradesmen, plumbers, these are the people that run our country. Mm-hmm. And I am one of them. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor that's decided to retire and get into politics. I'm a business owner that's frustrated. I'm frustrated talking to my friends, family that are frustrated. And I just happen to be a guy that wants to get something done. And I also do not want to sit around and make a career out of it. And if you'll notice on my website, I have term limits. I absolutely believe in term limits. It's time to go in, do your job, and get out.
How long would your term limits be? Like, let's say you do get elected, 10 years, 6 years. How many terms would you be willing to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, with the House of Representatives, it's a little different than like Senate. Obviously there are longer terms there. I do think that there is an argument. We do need experienced people, right? You go to, the Appropriations Committee. I mean, you need some real experience there. You get a freshman in there. It's going to take them a minute to kind of figure it out, right? What are they thinking about getting it going? So I do think that we do need some time, right? It's not like, I can tell you our county supervisors here, I think they're on 4-year terms. I like that, not necessarily saying let's change the term of the representative, but I think we need something that gives you time, 8 years, 10 years, something there. I mean, we have presidents at 8 years. Why are we not following the same? So, and remember, this was a thing. Term limits for presidents weren't a thing, right? And then they were. So this is where we need to come together and we need to do something about it. But we can't have these people here for 10 terms is 20 years. I mean, what are we doing? What are we getting done for the community?
On my website, I believe I have the link, and it'll tell you, it brings you to how long basically they've been in office, and you look and it says, some will say 20 terms. Excuse me, 20 terms? That is 40 years. I am 30 years old. You have been in Congress for 10 years more than I've been alive, and then we get told by a lot of these people, these ones that have been in Congress for 20, 30, 40 years, the people who got into politics in their early 20s, that our generation is too young. We don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what we're doing. That they are the older generation. They should lead. And it's just, you've been in charge for 40 years. Things are only getting worse. Maybe it's time to retire.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think that your points and the mission that you're on definitely reflects, and I appreciate that we were able to jump on, and that's why I think it's just asking some questions. Again, the unity for sure is what I'm doing, and I'm running for my community. That is important, but I think that the way you're feeling is the way I'm feeling. Now I have to say, rewind a couple years ago. I voted. I'm a Republican. I voted for Trump, and he's the Republican candidate, right? And I think that there were a lot of people, especially that first election, that withheld that, right? There was really starting to be this divide in the country of you're either with her, you're with him, no in between. And I think a lot of people didn't talk about that. And I think right now, especially in our community, we're not talking about unity. We're not talking about the people that are just tired of this and really want to move on. And that's what I would like to do. And I think that there's a lot of people like us that are like, you know what? Yeah, let's get some fresh blood in there, get some fresh faces. Let's do something for the country, and I think it also reflects our current demographic as well, right? And I think that is important. So, yeah. Well, I love what you're doing. Thank you for taking the time to interview me. This was really cool.
Thank you so
Pretty
much for
easy.
agreeing to it.
Yeah. And where are you? Where are you at? Are you here in California? Or are
Yeah,
you in the?
California, San Bernardino County.
Oh, so you're all too familiar with the high taxes that we've got here in this beautiful state.
I
Are
am very familiar with the Cajon Pass burning down frequently. It's
Yeah,
California. It's how
I'm
it is.
unfortunately my profession is I deal with wildfires at times, and we're just dealing with the Palisades right now, which is just completely devastating. But yeah, California's politics are its own monster, and it's interesting as I'm building this campaign, and I'm thinking, okay, I'd like to address this, and I'm like, oh, this is really a California thing here. So, we really need to push people to ask better questions, sending the people into office here in California. And I think that, I really have to say, and I know that there's a lot of people that voted for Harris. What really resonated to me during that election is how we were able to shove a candidate in and dump hundreds of millions of dollars. I think it was like $1.2 billion into this campaign. There are some bigger forces here that are taking our vote as the everyday person, and our message is not getting across. So, yeah, I think that actively happens here in California, and we need to make sure that we're really educating ourselves on, is this the best person to represent the state?
Yeah, for too long, again, most people don't care. They get checked out. And then I did have a conversation with John McBride, who is running in California's 9th district, I believe. And he mentioned it costs $17,000 to get his candidate summary into just one of those little election booklets that the county send out. And so this is another thing that very much limits the average person from being able to run, from being able to reach people, to get their message out. Because, as he made the comment, and I've made the comment too, when you're looking through the election book and you see a person running and there's no information on them, it's usually just an instant, well, I'm not going to vote for them. Like,
yeah, they didn't take this seriously.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, too, I mean, and when you look at these campaigns, and I trust me, I know about the money. We talked about that. That is a big thing. We're going up against the political establishment, these millions and millions of dollars. But at the end of the day, you think about, I want to make sure I'm not wasteful. If somebody's donating that $25 a month that you mentioned, that is something maybe they could give. And they're saying, hey, you know what? I've got this money. I'm going to allocate it for this program. I believe in it. If somebody comes and donates $25 once a month to me, whatever it may be, I'm going to make sure I protect that money and I'm spending it wisely. And it is foolish when we talk about these ballots, right, that are already getting sent out, right? They're already getting sent out, and you have to pay this, astronomical fee to be in it, to put a statement in it. Now, oh my gosh, if we accidentally, with all the candidates actually filling this out appropriately, we accidentally added one more page, whatever it might be, where their calculation is that it's going to be an additional $17,000 amongst all the candidates or whatever it is. So yeah, I think that this does show where the big money's at. Trust me, as a regular person, right? I know I can make this work, and we're going to start getting our message out there. I can already tell you, I'm very aware of the big money. It's definitely out there. And, yeah, it's something else. I made a little video on Instagram, and I said, are you really getting the person that is best for you and your beliefs? Are you just getting the best person that somebody else has chosen to put you in front? And that's unfortunate.
Well, that's the other issue I have with the parties. They're the ones that keep choosing the candidates because of the money behind them. You can't, on average, someone like you is not going to be able to afford the $17,000. But someone who meets with the party heads and says, hey, I will do your bidding, and the party says, okay, we'll pay that $17,000, has a lot better chance of getting elected. And for too long, the parties have been doing this, and that's the main reason why I created Country Community Honor, to try and be able to have an organization to put funds and resources behind candidates to pay for things like this. Just, hey, oh, you need $17,000 to pay for this? Okay, we can pay for that because our organization allows us to be able to do it. We don't even have to ask you to do it. We can just pay for it without even talking to you. And then that would help so many people running, because they wouldn't have to think about, hey, I need to save this extra $17,000. And that's just for this one county. And now imagine if you're in a district that has 3, 4, 5 different counties in it. You have to shell out $17,000 for 5 different county booklets? Okay, well, there goes your entire advertisement budget for that month.
Yeah. And then you have the political machine that comes in for that other candidate, no problem, and is just contributing this money. I really think that our voices are being washed out. And I mean, I can tell you for sure, I'm going to make as much noise as I can. And it starts like this. It starts where one tweet later, we are connecting, we're doing something. And by the way, is this election, I mean, we're very early into this election. You save my information. You want to talk, you've got a message you want to get across. Let's have another conversation. Let's keep this going. And this is how we win. This is how we bring people together that have finally said enough's enough. Enough's enough with some of this big money. Enough's enough with these career politicians. And let's actually do something. Because right now, being 30-some trillion dollars in debt's not looking too promising for when I go to retire, or for when you go to retire, or our kids are raised in this country. It's going to be much different. And we need to do something, right? So, yeah. Anyways, well.
Exactly. But thank you
If you're all good, I'm all good.
I'm good. I was going to say thank you so much for taking the time. If there's any message you would like to last shout out, campaign website, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything like that, feel free to.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, I think I would just encourage anybody listening this far into it. Thank you. That's a good track record right there talking. But go over to jonathanwagoner.com. We've got all the socials up there in the top corner, and go through my website and remove the party for a minute and add up in your head, is this common sense? Is this a message that I can get behind? And if you can, get involved, fill out our contact form. I hope to earn your vote at the bare minimum, but I would love to hear from every single person that's on my website, on my social media. I really want to connect with you. So yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you again. And my name is Christopher Franz. I'm the founder of Country Community Honor. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can visit our website at ourconstitutionalrepublic.com. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.